James here. Today we're taking a look at this very big box. It's actually a new gaming chair for me, and this is actually from Blue Whale. This is for adults, of course, and this actually will work for people up to about 450 pounds. You're going to be greeted with, of course, cardboard. You're going to be greeted with the backrest. The backrest, of course, is leather. It's a nice textured leather. So we're going to see that, guys, in a second here. So you guys have a nice black and green leather right here, of course, with a nice insert pillow to the lumbar support. You're then going to be greeted with, of course, the rest of it, like your headrest pillow. So you do get a pillow, guys. All of the pieces and armrest pieces and everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this all out, and then we'll start putting this together, and we'll come back to all this. Okay guys, now that I have it laid out, I realize that this chair is actually in more pieces than most computer chairs or gaming chairs that I have ever put together before, including the base. And as you guys can see right there, there are 5 rods separately placed that I need to put together for the base, including the wheels and of course the 5-star centerpiece and of course the top hub. Now with this, I also have to add on the side pieces to the chair, the armrest, the pillows, and of course the bottom of the chair and of course the top. And then we have to add the piston, which is right there, into it all to combine it. Now normally most chairs don't have this many pieces, so this one does have a lot of pieces, so we're going to probably attempt to install this together, but we might have to fast forward through a lot of this just to show you guys that, hey, it's going to take a while. Okay guys, now you guys see we have a big old jumbled mess of stuff laying out here, and we're going to actually start putting this together. We're going to have to actually do piece by piece. We're going to start with, of course, the bottom section. This is going to be your star base. You're going to have to connect it with, of course, these pieces. And to do that, you're going to line them up just like this, guys. Just slide them in, line them up, and add 2 screws to each one. Now, the screws are going to be the actual number 5. There's going to be 10 of those number 5 screws. Now, of course, you're going to pull that out of this installation, grab 2 of these for each of these bases as we're going. And then we're going to make sure that we have the right bit. Now, they do give you the Allen tools for this, but I'm going to actually use the pieces that I have, of course, right here to set these in. And I'm going to use my drill to send them in just that quick. So once we're in there, we're up and we're started, and we don't have to worry about that. And of course, that's the first star piece. You're going to repeat the process, of course, as you're going, just like this, 2 by 2, all the way around until you have all 5 installed. And that's what we do right now. Okay, I have 2 more of these left, of course, guys, to finish off the base, and I'm just going to tap that in just like that. Of course, guys, just make sure that you're not over tightening these. You don't want to strip the holes, and that's all there is to do in the base. And of course, there you have a nice heavy full aluminum or steel aluminum style base. This is going to be very sturdy, so I understand why it can hold the weight that they can say it holds. You're then going to take, of course, the wheels in here. You're going to insert the wheels into each hole or each slot just like that. It's going to pop in. You're then going to repeat the process for all 5 of these all the way around, and then you have, of course, the star base ready to be set up. Now remember, guys, you have a lot more to this chair besides just putting the little base together, because this chair actually is like a puzzle. You're going to have a full assembly, but there is your 5-star base. Very sturdy, very stabilized right there. Now, of course, you literally can set that shock in there if you guys want. That's going to be a piece in the project that we're going to have to go on to as well. You're then going to proceed and move on to, from that, to pairing up, of course, the chair. And then we're going to have to grab the piece of the chair that we're going to be using, and that is going to be the back piece right over here for this. And that's kind of cool that we're going to be starting with the back piece because we did put the shock in, of course, with that. So I'm going to grab the back piece. Be right back. Okay, now that we're moving on, we're going to grab the bottom base. Of course, guys, see this nice textured green look, of course, with this. This is your front curvature, so that's what we want the front to be. This is the back. We're going to have to take out these screws. Of course, the screws should be nice and loose, so you should be able to take them out with no problem, without an issue, just by unscrewing them. If you have a drill, definitely use the drill to pull these out, because you're going to need them out. So simply just pull them out. We're going to then connect up the second piece on the bottom as we go with this, and just kind of keep assembling as we kind of go. It's just going to be kind of easy, guys. So we're just going to walk you guys through this. We're going to grab, of course, the bottom piece. This is where the shock's going to fit in. The front goes, of course, facing the front. It does show you guys that. You'll literally place it over these holes just like, of course, that. We're going to line it up. We're then, of course, going to grab the drill. We're going to grab the other drill bit, which is the M8 drill bit. Of course, we're going to put it in properly. We're going to grab this, and then we're going to sink, of course, these screws in like that. But we're going to do it loose until we have them all lined up, because we don't want to, you know, not have it lined up properly when we're sending these in. Now that we know they're lined up, we can send them in a little better. And, of course, like that. Make sure we tap them in. And there we go. So that's what we're going to do right there to set that up. That's what it's going to take to do that, of course. Pretty simple right there to do that piece. Just set it up and we're in and we're good to go. So there's the base, of course, with that. Now, of course, we do have more mounting pieces to do. We have to do the armrest and stuff as well with that. Here, we're going to have to take out the 4 screws on each side for the armrest, guys. So this should be quite simple for you. You should be able to do this, no problem. We definitely need to pop these out. But we're going to take all these out. And, of course, I'm going to use my handy-dandy drill just to pull these out so I don't have to wait so long and bore you guys. Of course, you know, your magnetic bit will sometimes stick into, of course, the screws. Once we have them out, we'll be able to reverse the process, of course, and put the armrest on. And then we'll be able to set this piece on the chair. Now, with this, there's a pattern to this, of course, with the armrest. Because it is a 40 armrest, you want to make sure it's set on the right side. And since we're going to be mounting it this direction, we want to make sure that the armrest that actually pivots up right here, if you guys see this, this is going to be on this side from right here. And of course, we're going to mount it just like this. And we're going to grab a couple screws. And we're first going to mount in, of course, the back screws, which is going to hold it into semi-place. We do need to make sure it lines up properly with that. So do make sure that you line these up. Now, okay, like I said, you're going to have to line these up, guys. It's going to be a little bit of a pain to line it up. But once you line one up, you're going to grab the other, and you're going to line those up as well. You will adjust this as you have to make sure that they line up in place for these holes. You're going to, of course, reverse the same process on the opposite side to do this. Now, of course, I've done quite a bit of these chairs, so I'm kind of used to this. Now, what I'm going to do is, since I have that one armrest on, I'm going to do the other armrest, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that we have that piece together, you guys can see the armrests are definitely on, and they're on facing the front side. Now, they do, of course, move. What we're going to do is we're now going to take this position and set it onto, of course, the base with the shock. Now, the easiest way I'm going to tell you guys to do that is to literally line the shock up just down here, just like this. Do be careful because it is grease, and once you do that, set it down and you have it. Now, you'll fit your final form onto this by setting down onto it, of course, with that, but we're going to leave it from there. From here, we're going to have to take out, of course, the screws because we're going to have to mount, of course, all the hardware kind of like this. These two pieces will mount here. This piece will mount to the upper piece, and so on and so on. That's what it's going to take to do this, and we have to keep going. Now, of course, we're going to take the shock side. This is going to be the side that's going to let your back seat rest backwards. We're then going to line up these holes and reverse, of course, these screws that we just took out just by this and going into this. Now, you got to make sure that you put it on the right side, and this is actually the side I want because I am right-handed. That's also the side that this actually connects to. Now, of course, you do have to be careful around the spring because you don't want to hit your hands in it. But once you do that, guys, just tap it in and send it, of course, home. Now, it's going to self-adjust itself. You may need to come back and then tighten it, but again, you're going to reverse the process with the opposite side. Right here, you guys are going to pull these screws out, of course. We're going to actually mount the other bracket into this. Now, usually I do the back piece first, then mount it to the seat. Unfortunately, this seat has a little bit more detail to it, so this is the way I'm doing it with this one. That's just the way it's going to rock with that, of course. That's the way we're going to go with this. Now, once we're going to do it, we're going to, of course, send these screws in home as well. Just like that. And we have that piece together. Now, we do have a lot more pieces. These are going to be cover pieces, of course. You guys are going to see these plastic pieces. These plastic pieces are going to set over this, but they are, of course, going to screw in. Now, this one will probably, I think this one may just literally sit right there with the little screw, and that's the way that's going to get. And then this one will sit over that just like this. But we do have to now mount the actual backrest to this, and the backrest, of course, has multiple screws on it, and you're going to have to, of course, take these screws out. Now, make sure you take the washers with it. But once I have that out, we're going to come back and we're going to mount this. Now that I have it out, guys, we have the bolts off. We have to actually bring this piece back here, and this is where it's going to get a little finicky, because we do have to line this up, and we're going to mount these guys with these. That means we have to take, of course, this backrest, and we have to fit it in between these slots. Now, of course, we can adjust these and line these up as best as we can. This one actually seems like it's lining up pretty semi-well right here, so I'm not gonna fight this one, but of course I am gonna line it up a little bit better so I actually have the proper alignment just set in there. Of course, you gotta remember, you gotta hit that little screw mount, or it's not gonna mount in properly. You do want it to thread in there, so do be cautious with that, of course. And of course, once you have it lined up, if we have it lined up properly, you'll literally just start sending those screws in. So this side, I'm going to screw these in real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, now that we have it fully lined up, we're going to send, of course, the last screws in. Of course, got to make sure this one lines up, and this one is being a little bit finicky for us. So let's make sure that we have it in there. Let's send, of course, the top one in. And we're now in. That's it. That's all there is. Now we're going to finish off the processing. Okay, now that we're going to finish it off with, of course, the plastic caps, we're going to grab the right piece that goes onto the right side, which is going to possibly be this one for this side, if I can make sure that it lines up properly. Now you do have to make sure it lines up, of course, with the hole properly. When you do this line up pieces, it's going to take one screw, of course. It's going to be either a shallow mount screw or a large mount screw. This is going to be, of course, a shallow mount. Of course, I just, like a bonehead, had the wrong end piece. So let's grab the right end piece, set it in there. We now have a screw in here. We're going to grab the screw, of course, and we're then going to send this one in here. Just like that. We're now going to find, of course, the cap cover. The cap cover is just going to fit up and on here just in pieces. Make sure we have the right one, and that's going to be this one right here. So we do want to make sure that it pops in, of course. Then we're going to grab the longer screw, which is going to be this screws right here, and we're going to fit it into this hole. And then that's going to send this one in nice and tight. Now, with that, there is a plastic cap. The plastic caps are down here. You'll pop that plastic cap over, and that's all it's going to take to finish that up. You're going to then reverse the same process on the opposite side. Make sure that you line them up just like you should. Now this one, of course, is going to take, of course, another long screw. Not a short screw, but a longer screw. But that's all it's going to take with this. So that's actually the simplest process. I'm going to finish this side. We'll be right back. Okay, we now have the Blue Whale chair put together, as you guys can see right here. And the armrests may look a little weird, but that's because they move. Now this, of course, is black leather texture. It does have green stripes all the way through. It does have this nice lumbar support pad. And, of course, this additional pillow that could be put on, or taken off. Now, the stitching is actually quite beautiful. The armrests are really actually super cool, because the armrest, if I can do this, can actually move and adjust in multiple directions, but also can tip upwards into any angle you want, and, of course, lift up and down, which is actually kind of cool. Now, what they do, make sure that you put all the bolts together, but I'm going to switch views, and I'm going to show you guys me sitting in this. Okay, now that we have that chair together, I can show you guys this. The armrest, guys, they lift up, down. You can adjust these so they can angle, so maybe if you guys like a little bit of a lift, you can do that. Of course, make sure that you lock it into place, or it's not going to stay there properly. You do need to make sure it locks right into a position, of course, like that. It's kind of cool. Now, with that, you can also adjust them in and out. You can also recline this back 155 degrees if you guys want to lay back and just relax for the day. This is a nice wide base for the bigger people, of course. Very comfy so far. No intrigues or issues. Guys, can go all the way up to 90 degrees if you guys really want it up to be the most stiffest section, which is actually kind of cool. I like that they can do that, of course. Very cool armrest. I like the idea of the armrest with this. But if you guys need a big chair like this, the blue well might be the one for you. Again, it can hold 450 pounds and actually built very well. I want to thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great one.